Hi, welcome to Jadekind Gaming. My name is Adam, and I'm here with Session 0 campaign introduction, if you were, for the Order of Heroes, a Mutants and Masterminds series that I'm beginning on the channel. And first, don't worry, the regular D&D campaign I've been running has not abruptly ended. It's still going. I'm still doing that, and it will still be released at least every other week, as usual. This is an additional campaign that I'm starting to help me move towards the goal of having 2 videos a week. So this campaign will be on alternating weeks when I'm able to double up content between that to just help fill it up. And there will be time between this game where it's not going to be continuous. And that's because the plan for this game is different than the normal games where I've sat down with my friends. Nick, Bob, Ryan, Austin are here currently. Usually I would sit down, we'd play some D&D, and that would be a session, and it would just be a continual story, from week to week, in day to day within the game. This is something I'm calling almost episodic. The idea that they will each make superheroes, as will other people. I've been recently working on doing some filming, through Discord, where we're just heads in boxes, so I can film with people that aren't so local to me, that I used to play games with, and so I've been experimenting with that. So that will allow me to at times have it where other people join in, and we're not going to be around the table, but we'll be heads in boxes. And I will have a continuous story that takes place over time, but the heroes involved will change from time to time. We'll have a little plot line that's a few heroes doing their mission, and then the next time around might be another hero. Sometimes it'll just be me and one other person, sometimes a couple, and occasionally we'll have a big hero, group joining together. Also will help with not having scheduling issues as we try and add more games to our schedule overall. Now, Mutants and Masterminds is a game based on the 3rd edition of the D20 rules, but with heavy modifications. It's designed to play superheroes, and as that's what we'll be doing, you can have your solo stories, team-ups, and even big groups, so Jadekind heroic universe, if you will. Maybe you won't.
Why me?
You're not the one that disagrees with me at all sorts of things. I wouldn't know.
I don't check out. All these guys are saying how all your names suck, and I'm like, that's the best name for the title of the video. You should obviously use that.
Oh, I misunderstood you. Thank you, Bob. I totally misunderstood.
See, you're just terrible at English.
My bad. Now, of note,
we all agree it's your fault.
Sure. The setting will be an alternate Earth in semi-recent times, so there will be some events that are based on things from real human history, wars, disasters, etc. And I will alter those effects to place them into the world of superheroes. So some level of grounding it in reality, but some that's not. And just as those kind of things are serious, real-world things, just wanted to give a fair warning in case anyone would be upset to hear those altered to make things, if it feels like it would be making light of tragedy in order to tell fiction. If that would bother you, then this probably isn't the game for you to watch. Because I like the idea of pulling things from reality to ground the superhero story in the real world. I will be starting everyone at power level 10, and more specifically having them build characters with the quick start character generator in the deluxe Heroes Handbook. Although I will be allowing them some slight modifications if there are certain things they don't like with it, to just be able to help them have a character that they enjoy. And I'm not going to go through that whole character creation process here in this video. As to us, this is new. and we're likely going to be very clunky and possibly make mistakes as we make the characters. Also, I mean, later on, as I said, other people will be joining this game. It's not just the 5 of us in this game, so I'm not going to do a character creation video every time one of them joins in, so they will just literally show up with a hero, and that you will be introduced to them as I am introducing them to the world. But I did want to bring them along here to at least introduce the concepts behind their characters, as that way you at least know a few of the heroes that will be involved. You want to start, Ryan?
Sure. When I was looking at the quick start guide, I was thinking of making a gravity controlling character. And there's a bunch of things that you have to do in order to give your characters complications, and one of the ones that I was thinking of is having, I'm not sure if it's a responsibility or however the game would end up having it, but the idea that I had was essentially that my character in his backstory would essentially be the alternate reality version of a villain who ended up destroying his home planet and then was reborn in the setting where the game will take place. And that essentially I have the specter or more, some sort of like poltergeist of the remnants of that villain spirit, who I'm somewhat aware of but not fully knowledgeable about, and that he would be something that I'd have to be keeping under control, or at least figuring out a way to deal with.
So just a wee bit crazy?
No, I've got a villain whose life I don't want to emulate, so I'm going to make better choices.
It's literally a voice in your head saying...
No, it's a actual villain that could come up and we could fight at any time.
Yeah.
Just because he's spectral doesn't mean he's not real.
Spectral things are totally real?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is comic books, of course they are.
Yeah. Did you?
I know the base premise of my character. I did not work on a backstory.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if what I want to do is viable.
Okay.
So...
What's that premise?
going to make the electric spy. I am spy. I move through power cables.
Mm-hmm.
Basically.
Yep.
I have, of course, already picked out the name.
What is it?
Well, it's Ohms for his hero name and Bill Bison. I'm following the trope, damn it. You can't get mad.
Very well. Nick, you had,
Yes. Part of the quick start guide is you can roll for it. I decided I'm gonna roll.
That's dumb.
No, it's hilarious.
Is it?
14. Speedster.
Speedster. So you'll be a speedster. Let's see, what do we want to... I won't make you go through all the roles, but probably at least the next one for the abilities for what sort of type, I guess age. 11 at a youth.
Yes, and teenage speedster.
And we'll let the rest of that be something you do afterwards. So, teenage speedster character, and he's going to work on everything else from there, because he wanted to randomly determine it. Austin, what was your...
I had no idea.
Yeah, I know, and I gave you weeks to decide, and I was really excited to hear. What have you come up with?
I'm currently thinking either somebody who shoots big, massive laser beams, like just shoot all defenses and shoot giant, massive, huge laser beams.
Mm-hmm.
And that's currently what I'm really thinking about.
Are you going to be Piccolo?
Just make a DBZ character.
I'm surprised you're not going with a guy who just punches people.
I mean, in laser beams, I could turn all that into just an all-out punch character.
Pretty sure it would be the same build. It's...
Yeah, more or less same thing, just less range.
Laser fist.
God.
We'll see what
Fist of the
Austin,
North Star.
Austin
You're
ends
already
up
dead.
playing.
You can do a laser face and just shoot lasers out of your face.
I thought about that. Taserface. Actually make a character named Taserface who shoots tasers out of his face. Because, I mean, why not?
My friends, ladies and gentlemen. beyond that, I will note that this game is also new to us, so I may get some rules wrong. I also resume the right to restrict what new characters have, like in your introductory episode. So I may just randomly take powers that you have away from you if I want to introduce them to you during your introductory story. So
I disagree.
I reserve that right. And as a guideline, because there will obviously we will be working, different characters will have different amounts of screen time, and the game is very much an experience-based system. As you don't level up, you just get points that you spend on your powers, so it has to be experience-based. There could over time become some level of discrepancy in points. Some level of that is fine, but my idea as of this point is that if you begin a game more than 2 power levels below the most advanced hero, I'm just going to start you by increasing your points up to where you're only 2 power levels below. And at the end of a game, of like a, story arc, when experience is awarded, if you are more than a full power level below them, you'll get double experience. Did any of you have any immediate questions from anything I've said?
I would point out, you mentioned you were new to this, so we might make mistakes, and that is, of course, the caveat that playing D&D, we never make any mistakes.
Oh, yeah, we don't. What, invisibility?
We never make any mistakes. We're old pros at that. Absolute experts.
Well, the bigger problem is we switched from 3.5 to 5, which 3.5 we played for years and years and years. I'd read all the books multiple times to a new system, and it's like, I don't know how many times I'm like, that's not the rule, and you're like, that's 3.5, you're not in the right system.
I know 5 so much better because I've actually read almost all the books cover to cover.
I ain't got that kind of time.
Well, I do it for the channel. Furthermore, you guys, any questions? I don't know how great a job I did at explaining things, but I tried. At the point where I'm putting this up, I will basically almost certainly be doing the first story in like 2 weeks from now, after, of course, skipping a week for the normal D&D campaign. So there'll be something coming up soon. But again, like I said, we'll have little, because each storyline is like self-contained, and it might be a 1-episode story, or it might be like a 4-episode, 4-session long story that goes for several. Stories will all be released in chunks, every bi-weekly. But then there will be time between stories, but then there will be time within the setting between stories often as well. So, I think I explained things. Feel free to ask questions if you don't understand. Otherwise, we'll hop into the game in a couple weeks. I hope you join us. So comment, thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't. Bye.